Welcome to RMU Live. I'm Nick Evans.
And I'm Isabella Harris.
We've seen the longest shutdown in U.S. history as it finally comes to an end after President Donald Trump signed a funding bill to reopen the government on Wednesday night.
It follows a bitter 43-day standoff in Congress over the country's spending priorities. But even as the government reopens, things won't quickly be returning to normal. Ivan Rodriguez has the latest.
The U.S. government is finally back open, but the fallout continues.
It costs about $15 billion a week, and it accumulates to maybe 1.5% of GDP.
While there's relief for travelers,
I am happy that it'll get back to some kind of normalcy.
Flight delays and cancellations are expected to linger as air traffic control facilities staff back up. Thursday, nearly 1,000 flights were canceled due to those staffing issues, FAA mandated cuts to keep the airspace safe, and unrelated reasons. It remains unclear when regular operations will resume.
It's going to take a long time. The problem is that the cascading effect that has occurred during the government shutdown is going to just kind of build on top of itself.
Across federal agencies, the hundreds of thousands of furloughed workers will have to address a more than 6-week backlog of work, from food safety inspections to NASA operations to tax refunds. Federal workers say it takes time to get things back up and running. And the battle on Capitol Hill still isn't over. There are no guarantees Congress will extend the health care subsidies set to expire at the end of the year, something demanded by Democrats as Affordable Care Act enrollees brace for premium increases.
It went from $400 that we're paying right now to $1,975 for the same policy.
The legislation also only funds most of the government through January, which means in less than 3 months, the government could close its doors again. In Atlanta, I'm Ivan Rodriguez.
Even though the longest government shutdown is officially over, Democrats are frustrated with Senate Leader Chuck Schumer after 7 Democrats joined Republicans in voting for the shutdown to end. The deal passed without Democrats receiving extensions to key ACA health insurance subsidies that would benefit more than 24 million Americans. The government will be funded until the deadline on January 30th, where another shutdown deadline looms.
After a more than 130-day long impasse, the Pennsylvania state budget has been signed into law. After multiple sessions and discussions, the state Senate voted 41-9 to pass the state budget bill on Wednesday for the fiscal year that began on July 1st. Within a few hours, the $50 billion budget clearing the Senate, Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro signed it into law. Fayette County Commissioner Scott Dunn said that the hiring and spending freezes will remain in place until the county receives payments due by the state.
Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman remains in the hospital this afternoon after his fall on Thursday near his home. According to a spokesperson, Fetterman sustained the fall near his home in Braddock during an early morning walk when he had a ventricular fibrillation flare-up that led to him feeling lightheaded. The senator is reportedly doing well and receiving routine observation at the hospital. Fetterman even released a lighthearted statement himself, saying, quote, "If you thought my face looked bad before, wait until you see it now." Fetterman has battled health issues in the past, including his somewhat debilitating stroke in 2022 during his Senate campaign.
A Fayette County man is dead after becoming trapped in a mobile home fire early Wednesday morning. He was later identified as 73-year-old Denton Martin. His family is looking for answers. Martin's granddaughter explained how they tried to help get him the assistance program for the oil, and unfortunately, with the government being shut down, they didn't approve it. Martin had to resort to a wood burner in the house, which is believed to have contributed to the fire. Officers stated that the fire is believed to be accidental.
The Duquesne Light Company is helping community members in need. The DLC announced on Wednesday that $150,000 in emergency grants will be used to support local nonprofit partners such as the Dollar Energy Fund and the Greater Pittsburgh Community Food Bank. These grants are aimed at helping residents with utilities and food insecurities. DLC President and CEO Kevin Walker, on the motivation behind this donation, said, quote, "In recent weeks, our region has seen a heartbreaking surge in the number of people who are facing real and urgent hardships and providing the most basic needs for their families," end quote. DLC employees are also volunteering in their local communities.
Pittsburgh Mayor-elect Corey O'Connor has chosen to nominate former police commander Jason Lando as chief. Jason Lando has spent the last 21 years with the Bureau. Lando grew up in Squirrel Hill and went to Hebrew school at Tree of Life. He served as incident commander on the day of the synagogue shooting. Citizens Police Review Board Beth Pittenger said Lando could help bring stability to a police force that has been without a permanent leader for the last year.
Healthcare workers in Pennsylvania are demanding changes in the workplace to address violence towards hospital staff. This comes less than 2 weeks after an incident at UPMC Altoona where a patient care technician was assaulted by a patient. The technician, Travis Dunn, was found unconscious and needed to be treated for a brain bleed and a fractured skull, among other injuries. Union leaders have organized an online petition listing their demands to ensure a safe work environment, even citing a study that shows healthcare workers suffer more non-fatal injuries than any other profession. Staffing levels have dropped due to this hazard as well, with the union stating that there are approximately 300 fewer nurses now than when UPMC took over in Altoona a decade ago.
A new retail development is aimed to capitalize on growth in Pittsburgh's uptown neighborhood. The new Forbes Commons can potentially house up to 5 tenants, following the first floor renovation of the historic Forbes Stevenson building. Developers are looking for potential tenants, pointing to nearby UPMC Mercy, Duquesne University, and PPG Paints Arena, as well as welcoming of new residents into the area.
Well, one of the key questions of residents moving into new locations is what they should anticipate for the weather. Let's send it over to Lex Stricker as we take a look at what to expect for the forecast today and tomorrow.
Thanks guys, I'll be your weather woman today, so let's take a look at the hourly forecast. Starting around right now at 3 p.m., we're going to see partially cloudy with a temperature of 55 degrees. Then moving into 6 p.m., it's going to drop down to 53 degrees. And then moving over into the evening at 9 p.m., we're going to drop down to 51 degrees. And then taking a look at today's forecast, it's going to be a high of 57 degrees, a low of 46 degrees, and a 15% chance of precipitation. And then moving on to tomorrow's forecast, it's going to be a high of 63 degrees, a low of 43 degrees, and a 43% chance of precipitation. So make sure you are ready for that rain. Back to the desk.
Thanks, Lex. Looks like I'll be keeping my umbrella handy tomorrow.
Coming up after this, breaking news on President Trump as new Epstein files are releasing.
Also, how you might qualify for thousands of dollars from the Trump tariffs.
And later, why you might see more people lining up for their chance at a certain lottery's jackpot. After this.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me.
That was perfect.
But I heard every word.
There's so many rewards in life. You coming into our home was one of the greatest rewards we could have ever had.
You know, it took 20 years and I got my third child who was 17 at the time.
It's so cool to watch the adult that you've become, and you really have done as much for us as you think we've done for you.
Most of my family, they never graduated high school or even let alone go to college, so I'm trying to break that barrier. Every day after work, went straight to school, studied hard, and it paid off. I could not have done it alone. I see the future is really bright for me. The high school diploma is just added to the confidence, and now I feel unstoppable.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
You told me not to talk to strangers. You told me not to cross the street without looking both ways.
You told me not to touch the stove.
You told me not to do drugs.
You told me not to drink and drive.
You gave me so many messages about how to stay safe. Why did you keep me safe by properly storing your gun?
Welcome back to RMU Live. We have breaking news on the Epstein files.
President Donald Trump announced today that he is asking the Department of Justice to investigate relationships between notorious sex offender Jeffrey Epstein and former President Bill Clinton, J.P. Morgan Chase, former Treasury Secretary Larry Summers, billionaire tech investor Reid Hoffman, and others. Trump's statement comes as he faces renewed pressure over the past own friendship with Epstein.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. Are people still talking about this guy, this creep?
That was President Donald Trump in July this year, offering a very different opinion of Jeffrey Epstein than he once shared publicly. In 2002, long before he became president, Trump told New York Magazine he'd known Jeffrey Epstein for 15 years and called him a terrific guy. He's a lot of fun to be with. It is even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side, Trump told the magazine. Over the years, the two have been spotted many times in public together. This NBC video shows Trump and Epstein socializing in 1992 at a party at Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate. The video, released in 2019, shows Trump appearing to say to Epstein, "Look at her back there, she's hot," while Epstein smiles and nods. Former swimsuit model Stacey Williams, who dated Epstein in 1993, told CNN in an interview Trump was Epstein's wingman.
They were best friends. They were very close.
The two men flew together as well. These flight logs show Trump traveled on Epstein's jet 4 times in 1993, twice in 1994, and once in 1995 and in 1997. The logs were made public during Ghislaine Maxwell's 2021 trial, where she was convicted of sex trafficking, among other things. Epstein also attended Trump's wedding to Marla Maples at New York's Plaza Hotel in 1993. In 1997, Trump added this personal note to Epstein inside a copy of his book, The Art of the Comeback. It reads, "To Jeff, you are the greatest," according to the New York Times. That same year, the two men were photographed together at Mar-a-Lago. This exclusive CNN video shows Epstein and Trump chatting in 1999 before a Victoria's Secret fashion show. Despite all of that, during a court deposition here in Palm Beach in 2010, Epstein refused to answer many questions about his association with Trump. And Trump has continued to try and distance himself from Epstein as recently as July. This was the story he told about kicking Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago.
We took people that worked for me, and I told them don't do it anymore, and he did it. I said, stay the hell out of here.
More recently, Trump had to answer about a letter bearing his name found in a birthday book created by Ghislaine Maxwell for Epstein's 50th birthday. The letter, according to the Wall Street Journal, contained the outline of a naked woman and a message, "Happy birthday, and may every day be another wonderful secret." Trump denied authoring the letter and sued the Journal for defamation.
It's not my signature, and it's not the way I speak. And anybody that's covered me for a long time knows that's not my language.
Randy Kay, CNN, Palm Beach County, Florida.
As the ongoing cloud of Jeffrey Epstein surrounds Donald Trump, more fuel has been added to the fire with 20,000 pages of emails and documents being released this week. The emails, which were released by the House Oversight Committee on Wednesday, show Epstein sounding off on Trump and Bill Clinton. Epstein showed high criticism of Trump and even said he, quote, knew about the girls. But he did not directly accuse Trump of any wrongdoing. He also said Clinton had never been to the sex offender's private island, despite Trump's claims that he was. One email of high intrigue suggested that Donald Trump was with Epstein on Thanksgiving in 2017, the first Thanksgiving since Trump took office. However, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says that these emails boast more good for Trump than harm. Let's see what she had to say.
These emails prove absolutely nothing other than the fact that President Trump did nothing wrong.
There is potential for more Epstein and Trump documentation to be released as Democrat Adelita Grijalva, who was sworn in as the newest member of Congress on Wednesday, signed a discharge petition to eventually trigger a vote to release the Epstein files. Grijalva was the final signature needed and said that it was time for Congress to, quote, restore a full check and balance to this administration. The Democrat seating was delayed during the government shutdown, a move that many believed was intended to prevent her signature on the Epstein petition.
President Donald Trump's use of sweeping tariffs faced sharp questioning at the Supreme Court on Wednesday, in a case with major implications for the president's agenda and the global economy. A majority of justices, include several conservatives, expressed their doubts about why the White House's justification of the import duties, which the president has defended. Let's take a listen.
Without tariffs, this country would be in such trouble. as they were for many years. That's why we owe $38 trillion. And so if that were ever reversed, it would be a disaster. Frankly, it would be a national security problem for our country.
President Trump had even more to say on Truth Social. Quote, "People that are against tariffs are fools. We are now the richest and most respected country in the world, with almost no inflation and a record stock market price. 401ks are higher than ever, and they are taking trillions of dollars and will soon be paying down our enormous debt of $37 trillion. Record investments in the U.S., plants and factories going up all over the place. A dividend of at least $2,000 a person, not included high-income people, will be paid to everyone," end quote.
The Justice Department sued on Thursday to block California's newly approved congressional map, escalating a high-stakes national fight over redistricting. California voters overwhelmingly approved Proposition 50, the constitutional amendment that changes the congressional boundaries so that Democrats will have a shot at winning 5 seats that are currently held by Republicans. In response, the Trump administration is accusing California of racial gerrymandering in violation of the Constitution by using race as a factor to favor Hispanic voters with the new map. With Republicans holding a narrow 219 to 214 House majority, the battle over California's districts could help decide control of Congress.
The United Kingdom has suspended the sharing of intelligence with the U.S. on suspected drug trafficking vessels in the Caribbean, amid concerns information supplied that may be used to engage in lethal military strikes by American forces. An estimated 76 people have been killed by the U.S. in 19 attacks on small boats in the Caribbean and Pacific that were allegedly involved in narco trafficking. The Trump administration claims drug smugglers can be killed legally, but because they are combats in a quote-unquote armed conflict with the U.S.
We're officially in respiratory virus season, and it's expected to last through mid-May. But there are ways to protect against viruses like COVID-19, influenza, and RSV naturally. In today's Health Minute, Dr. Sarah Nozel explains how you can give your immune system a big boost.
It's that time of year again. Respiratory virus season typically peaks between December and February, and as we get deeper into it, it's important that your body is prepared.
I am anticipating, as I think we all are, a rough respiratory season.
Dr. Sarah Nozel with the American Academy of Family Physicians says the first line of defense is vaccination. There are vaccines that protect against flu, RSV, and COVID-19, but there are also natural ways to give your immune system a boost, and that starts with getting your underlying medical conditions under control.
Do you have any medical problems that we should be preparing your asthma medications for the fall and winter? Should we be making sure your diabetes is well controlled?
Next, Nozel says make healthy choices. That includes consistent exercise, staying hydrated, and eating foods like fruits and vegetables.
We want our body to have all of the nutrients, not to be deficient in any nutrients.
Getting good quality sleep is also critical for immune system health, as is managing stress. And Nozel's final tip, make sure everyone in the family frequently washes their hands with soap and water.
When you touch your nose, your mouth, your eyes, or even your face, and your hands have not just been washed, you are likely transmitting small bits of virus to yourself throughout the virus season.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Thanks, Mandy. Cold and flu season is the most important time to keep those hands clean, and remember to take your vitamins.
Right after this, a recap as the men's soccer team saw its postseason come to an end after making an appearance in the Horizon League Championship.
Plus, who's next to face the RMU men's basketball team after triumphantly opening their season's home opener slate against Geneva.
Also, following the Steelers' upsetting defeat in Week 7, find out who's back for more this weekend, here on RMU Live.
It's been difficult because I hadn't been able to see my grandchildren.
I can't wait to get back to field trips with my school.
Not having to think about putting on a mask.
I really can't wait to get back to life, really.
I miss all my friends. I miss taking pictures in school.
An expression on someone's face when you do something nice for them.
COVID-19 vaccines are available, and they're the first step to safely getting back to things we miss most. Visit getvaccineanswers.org so you can make an informed decision about COVID-19 vaccines.
Imagine being fired because of who you love.
Imagine being denied medical treatment because of who you marry. Imagine being evicted because of who you are. Millions of Americans don't have to imagine this. They have to live it. Because in 30 states, it's legal to discriminate against LGBT people.
It's time to make an informed decision about COVID-19 vaccines. The dangerous new Delta variant is more than twice as contagious as the original virus and can affect anyone. Right now, 9 out of 10 hospitalizations and deaths from COVID are among unvaccinated people. Getting vaccinated might save your life, and there's now an option that's fully approved by the FDA. Learn more at getvaccineanswers.org.
Honorary Forest Ranger Betty White here, lending a hand to my dear friend Smokey Bear, because for years he's only said,
"Only you can prevent wildfires."
But there's a lot more to say. Like, if you park your car on tall, dry grass, the hot exhaust pipe can start a wildfire. So keep the animals safe, especially the cute shirtless one. Go to SmokeyBear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
Welcome back to RMU Live.
As the soccer season ends and the basketball season begins, let's turn it over to Joey Dramasic for our weekly update in the world of RMU sports.
Thanks, guys. It's that time for the best time of the week, sports. So let's get right into it. It's going to be a busy week for the Colonials, so let's take a look. Women's hockey takes on RPI today and tomorrow at 3 p.m. Volleyball ends their season with a series against Green Bay, with Saturday being senior day. Men's hockey takes on the RIT Tigers at a home series this weekend. Football travels to Mercyhurst before their season finale next weekend, and both basketball teams are in action during the week, with the women's team hosting Duquesne on Tuesday at 6 p.m., concluding with the men's team traveling to New York to take on St. Bonaventure on Thursday at 6 p.m. Now let's take a deeper dive into some sports. Starting on the pitch, the Army men's soccer season ended Wednesday night in Cleveland at the hands of the 1 seed, the Cleveland State Vikings, 2-0. The 2024 Horizon League champs had an overall record of 6-4-7 with a conference record of 3-5-1, which landed them at the 5 seed in the Horizon League tournament. And after a 2-1 win versus Milwaukee in the quarterfinals, the Colonials failed to repeat as Horizon League champions as a result of Wednesday's loss. Moving over to the hardwood, the men's basketball team had a successful 2-0 week, taking down Geneva College on Monday at 93-47 and Pitt Greensburg last night 81-57. Nikos Hidakousis dominated last night with a 19-point double-double performance for the third win of the season. Coach Toole and the Colonials take on St. Bonaventure this upcoming Thursday at 6 p.m. The women's basketball team has started their season extremely hot with a perfect 3-0 record so far. Last night, the Colonials took on St. Francis and secured their third win of the season with a 71-61 victory. The Pitt transfer Aslam Malcolm has balled out so far, averaging 19 points a game while shooting 40% from the field. The ladies take on the crosstown rival Duquesne next Tuesday in Hoop Township at 6 p.m. Down to the ice, the RMU men's hockey team took on the Long Island Sharks and were swept by LIU over the weekend. The Colonials fell Friday in a high-scoring affair 6-3, then were shut down Saturday with a 2-0 loss, their first game without scoring a goal this season. After the sweep, the Colonials now sit at 2-5-1 on the season, and they take on RIT this weekend, with both games set to start at 7 p.m. tonight and tomorrow. On the women's side, they also had a rough weekend, getting swept by Mercyhurst. The Lakers started off quickly on Friday and finished with a 5-1 win over RMU, with things only getting worse for Bobby Moe, losing Saturday 7-2. They will try to get back in the win column this weekend in a series against RPI. Puck drops today at the top of the hour and at 3 p.m. tomorrow as well, in search for their 6th and 7th wins of the season. Over to the gridiron, the Colonials fell to the Wagner Seahawks last weekend 24-20 and dropped their 7th game of the season. Freshman Ja'Kai Carter was named NEC Rookie of the Week in the losing effort with 7 catches for 141 yards and 1 touchdown. Tomorrow, the Colonials will travel north to take on Mercyhurst at noon tomorrow for their last home game of the season. Traveling down to Pittsburgh, starting with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Last week, the Steelers had another slow offensive performance against the Chargers, which resulted in a 25-20 loss. The loss brought them down to 5-4 in the season, but still good enough for first in the week AFC North. This weekend, they take on the 3-6 Cincinnati Bengals to get their season back into some winning ways, continuing to work on Aaron Rodgers-led offense. Kickoffs at 1 p.m. in Steel City. To finish up, the Penguins are currently 9 5-3, fell to the LA Kings on Sunday in a close 3-2 loss, with Novak's and Mantha's goals not being enough for the Pens to secure their number 10 win of the season. They currently are taking on Nashville in Stockholm, Sweden. Well, that's all I have for you this week. Make sure to come back next week for your weekly sports update in the Berg. Back to you guys.
Still ahead, a full-blown breakdown of what to expect with this upcoming week's weather and how you might want to adjust to more cool days ahead.
Also, why lottery ticket sales are spiking as jackpot amounts continue to grow. Along with the end of an era as the U.S. Mint presses its last pennies and what this could mean for the coin's future. Find out more on RMU Live.
Every day,
Millions of people are connecting
and even though we're overcoming obstacles,
watching each other's backs,
and banding together.
we should still make an effort.
We should still make an effort.
to get to know each other,
on a deeper level.
Father,
cosplayer,
Mentor.
actor.
it's time we take a step forward
It's time we take a step forward.
Come together.
and discover
How accepting our differences
can make us stronger.
Yeah, Sam, Elmo.
Oh, hey, Julia. Are you ready to play band with us? I'm going to play my clarinet.
And Elmo's gonna play his drum. Drum loud.
Oh, well, you know what to do, Julia.
Julia knows.
With Julia's autism, loud sounds can be too much.
But she still loves to make music. Play band.
Early screening for autism can make a lifetime of difference. Find out more at screenforautism.org.
If you love them enough to crawl into a play place to get them to come down, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Can I get the now bar, please? $1. Have a good one. Got it.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey.
Let me get a now bar.
Sure. $1.
Appreciate you.
Got it.
Welcome back to RMU Live. I'm Lex Trigger, and let's take a look at this 5-day forecast. Starting on Sunday, it's going to be partially cloudy with a high of 46 degrees, a low of 34 degrees. Then moving on to Monday, it's also going to be partially cloudy, a high of 44 degrees, low of 31 degrees. And then on to Tuesday, there's going to be a slight chance of rain with a high of 44 degrees, a low of 33 degrees. And then on to Wednesday, we're going to see partially cloudy, a high of 49 degrees, a low of 34 degrees. And then on to Thursday, there's also a slight chance of rain, partially cloudy, a high of 52 degrees, and a low of 45 degrees. Now back to the desk.
Thanks, Lex. Seems like the roller coaster is just getting to the fun part as the drop in temperatures continues.
With no winner on Tuesday, the Mega Millions jackpot has climbed to $965 million. This is the 7th largest in the lottery's 29-year history. But how much a winner would actually take home depends on their payout choice and where they live. State taxes can reduce a jackpot by as much as $105 million. The next drawing is Friday at 11 p.m.
Well, it is officially the end of the penny era as Wednesday saw the minting of the last ever penny. The penny has become worthless after over 230 years and costed 4 cents each to produce. President Donald Trump ordered the end in production, citing that it will save the country a great deal of money. Majority of production actually halted over the summer, but the last few of these 1-cent coins will be auctioned off. There are still billions of pennies in circulation and will remain legal tender, but there will no longer be new ones made.
Thank you for watching RMU Live. We hope you have a great weekend.
And be sure to tune in again next week.